Hey guys, I'm Tay, I'm an addict.
I'm Steve, I'm an addict.
And this is Chaos in Recovery.
A podcast aimed towards mental health and addiction in a chaotic world.
Hi.
Hi, good to see you again.
You too, how are you?
I'm okay.
Are you?
Yeah.
You look tired.
I am tired.
I'm tired too.
I've been working outside the last 3 days in this heat.
Yeah.
The last 4 days.
How is that?
At the beach yesterday and stuff. It's good. It's okay.
Yeah.
Makes for a long day.
Yeah.
You know? Makes me want to, not go to my meeting tonight.
Okay.
But...
What do you do when you get to that situation? How do you, flip your mindset?
Normally I just don't go.
Okay.
Or before this time getting sober, I wouldn't. Now I just know it's a matter of life or death for me.
Yeah.
So I've made that commitment, so I follow through with that commitment, no matter what.
It's hard for people to do that.
I think it's harder on the other side if you don't go. I think it makes life a lot harder because if you make the excuse to not go to a commitment that you said you were going to fucking go to,
Yeah.
one, you're going to be sitting in that all night feeling like shit that you didn't follow through with that commitment.
Yeah.
Two, your sobriety hinges, especially in early recovery. But three, how much effort does it fucking take to get up, get in a car, and go to a meeting when you know you're going to feel 1,000 times better by the end of the meeting?
Sure.
Tired or not, you have no fucking excuse.
Yeah, I just think it's hard for people to get to that point of, thinking of how you're going to feel afterwards, right? You don't want to go, but, you know how that you will feel good once you leave. But I think it's hard to get to that point.
Right.
But that's really strong. That's that willpower you have.
Yeah. And listen, coming from a person that's relapsed so many times, I haven't had willpower in my life.
Yeah.
So now that I have a taste of it, and I have a lot riding on making sure I'm reliable, even at my home group, or even at my, tonight's my sponsor's anniversary. He's selling at his home group, so I'll be going there instead of my home group.
Sure.
But I have a responsibility to show up there.
Yeah.
Because he's helped change my life, and I need to show him my appreciation.
For sure.
Yeah. Just as much effort as he gives to me, I need to give back to him, because that's how this works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you said that, because I feel like sometimes people think that sponsor relationships are one-sided, almost like a teacher kind of, and essentially they are teaching you through the steps and guiding you through them, but it is like a partnership.
Well, I don't think you're gonna. It's like anything. Whatever you put in, you're gonna get back.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're gonna go half-ass and just try and play the role of, look, I'm doing the bare minimum, your recovery is gonna be bare minimum.
Yeah.
If you go above and beyond and reach all the things that you're supposed to be doing, calling him or her and showing up to do the steps, showing up at meetings, you're gonna find that long-term, secure feeling of finally you're doing something progressive in your life. When for so long, at least for me, I've just had this idea of you're a fuck up. You're gonna fuck up at some point. You've shown yourself and everybody around you that the shoe will drop. It is just a matter of time. It doesn't matter what you're doing, because I always did half-ass shit.
Yeah.
I didn't take recovery seriously. I didn't take sponsors seriously. I picked sponsors who I knew I could do half-ass work with.
Beat around the bush stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I need somebody that's accountable, and he's keeps me very accountable.
Yeah. I agree. I also, just because of being on the friend side, and I've seen so much growth, I agree with that. He is great for you. As I also, talking to him and seeing him too, like he helps a lot of people. He even
sure
helped
does.
me. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like, and he's not even my sponsor, and I don't even see him out that much. So like that just kind of goes to prove like how much, he does have so much. He just has so much to give.
I think he sees this as this process of turning pain-ridden people into peaceful people as like the essence of life for him.
Yeah.
Like this is
It's like his path.
This is do or die, And he's been such in that low place, so he knows how imperative it is for people to start slowly digging themselves out,
Yeah.
and how much work they have to do to dig themselves out. I didn't know I had to do all this work.
Yeah, it's tough.
I thought my ego told me I was smart enough to just do the littlest of stuff. If I just stop drinking and doing drugs, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know all this work had to be done for me to stay away from a drink and a drug.
Yeah, like just the background of it. It's so funny because I just met with my sponsor yesterday, and I had like, I don't know what it was, like an epiphany, a psychic change, or whatever it was, but there was something that hit me yesterday out of the whole 6 months, right? That I was like, I am on the right path.
Yeah.
And that was really cool because I didn't think that like I would feel that. Like, I think at the beginning I was like, oh, that's some voodoo shit. You know what I mean? And like, I was like,
Well,
I
that
don't.
psychic change?
Yeah.
Well,
like, or like that feeling of like when they say like, you will feel your higher power.
Yeah.
Or for instance, like the ones that believe in, or have religious views, and they say God will come to you. You know what I mean? And it's like certain things like that. And I'm like, I'm not going to feel anything like that, but I did. And that was really like almost like a surreal moment where I was like, oh shit.
Was this during when you saw her or afterwards?
Yeah, it was like towards the end of our meeting. But we read the 3rd chapter in the big book, and maybe it was that chapter that just like brought me to that sense of like, I think it's starting to just like break down your timeline.
Yeah.
And like as I broke it down, I'm like, oh wow, like it almost just kind of like gets you in that mindset of like thinking or knowing what's right and what's wrong for your life, and like I was like, oh, I felt it, and that was cool.
Yeah.
And like, and I have to agree with you with the whole like being tired and stuff and like not wanting to go to meetings. Like I didn't want to go to the commitment yesterday because I was tired, and I've done a lot of shit in the last couple of weeks, but I made a commitment to go, and I knew I was going to feel better after, and I knew I was meant to be there because of that feeling that I felt earlier.
Sure.
And to help other people.
Yeah, me and Tay have been going to a residential and detox program here in Rhode Island for the last 4 or 5 months. And it's once a month we go and we share a commitment there with a few other people from our home group. And yesterday it was me, you, Rafe, and Liam who went. And so Liam was kind of orchestrating it, and he had said that he had 9 people sign up to go to this commitment, and only the 4 of us showed up. So I'm not talking anything bad about those people. Everybody has situations that go on and they can't make it last minute, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I can't start slipping in that area.
Yeah.
And say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't go.
Yeah.
I was at the beach. You think I wanted to fucking leave the beach?
I know.
With my kid? But I made a commitment. I have to go. And what a fucking awesome commitment it was. It
was great.
Like, we crushed it.
Yeah.
And
I agree too.
It feels so good because I've been in that seat, being in a residential so many times, listening to other 12-step programs come in and give us commitments.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to be on the other side, trying to be the positive influence for the people that are in there.
Sure.
And I saw a few people out there that I've been to rehab with. There were a few people I went to detox with.
Did they recognize
a
you?
couple came up and said hi. A couple didn't.
Yeah.
Couple, which is cool. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I get the shame attached and
Yeah.
guilt.
Yeah.
You know, but like I'm not that far removed. I'm 6 months removed from that.
Yeah.
And I'm also one commitment broken away from starting my relapse again and being right back in that rehab.
Yeah.
So it's important to me once again to be reliable and do what I say I'm going to do at all times. And if I have to break a commitment, I better have a fucking damn good excuse.
Yeah.
Somebody must be dead. They better be.
Yeah.
You know? That's just for me. That's what I need in my life.
Yeah.
That's what I need for my sobriety. And the same goes with my family. You know, the last thing I want to do is make an excuse why I can't show up to a place that I said I was going to show up to, you know? And then because the first thought out of their minds is, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Did he relapse?
Yeah.
Why is he making this excuse right now? Very valid for them to think that way.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the influence that makes them think that way. So my ass better be fucking showing up. And if I'm not, somebody best be dead.
Yeah, I think it's so ironic that you say that, and very interesting because I got immediate flashback of when we went to the Move to Heal meeting and your dad was there, and it was the first time that you chaired that meeting.
Sure.
And he came, and I love that he shared this, and he wasn't going to.
Yeah, no doubt.
But he said that when he had pulled in, he didn't see your van, so he automatically thought for a split second, not that you relapsed, but that something could have happened to you.
Yeah.
And, but leaning towards,
relapse. Yeah, it's implanted in in our family's heads. It's
Absolutely.
their first thought.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, he's not here on time? He must be fucking out doing something. And just like fucking us addicts and alcoholics like to lie our first thing, we need to think about it and then, no, let's give him a chance. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's just late. Maybe he's this. Maybe he's that. But they've given us so many maybes. Yeah. And given us the benefit of the doubt so many times that, like, it's tough to give us the benefit of the doubt a lot of the time.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
And I used to get upset about that. You know? I'm sick. I'm 4 months sober. I'm 3 months sober. Why the fuck you always on my case? Yeah. They just care.
So so how do you see that now, right? Like now that you don't get upset about it now, right?
Absolutely not.
So, but how did you change that?
So
like, how did you
I had to
that?
reframe it as they're just worried about me.
Yeah. That's a hard place to get to,
If they're just constantly asking me questions, have some fucking grace for them and start to understand and have some humility of what they've been going through your entire addiction. They can't instantly change just like you can't instantly become sober.
Yeah.
You know? You can't instantly become a long-term person in recovery that's honest, reliable, consistent, all these fucking key attributes in your life. You are still an addict 3 months down the road of being sober.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So give them a little fucking grace and understand that as much pain as you went through, they went through too.
Sure. And I love that you said that.
And they don't want to go through that pain just as much as we don't want to relapse and go through that pain again.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you give our audience a little bit of information as to what Al-Anon is?
Yeah. So Al-Anon is a support group, 12-step support group for family members, friends, partners of alcoholics and addicts. Much like addicts and alcoholics have their 12-step program, Al-Anon is the same equivalent to that type of support group where you go in, there might be a speaker there that talks for about 15 minutes talking about their experience, and then everybody else can join in on that support as well. And there are sponsors in Al-Anon.
Wow, I didn't know that.
There are the 12 steps in Al-Anon.
Oh.
It's parallel group as far as characteristics.
Wow.
Just one side is for addicts and alcoholics,
Yep.
and the other side is for people dealing with addicts and alcoholics.
Very interesting.
And there's a lot of addicts and alcoholics who obtain some clean time, who have had parents who are addicts and alcoholics, who then start to transition over to Al-Anon to get support for their dealing with addicts and alcoholic parents.
Oh, wow.
Or kids, or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you could have an addict alcoholic in both groups.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Interesting. And the reason why I brought that up was because it kind of parallels to our last episode of having Jess on.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of give the audience a little information as to, you know, there are other resources out there for the non-addict and alcoholics, you know, if you need support as well. So that is something that I think was important to mention.
I think Al-Anon is a great support group. Just like any support group that you go to, you have to be responsible in who you listen to. You have to be... you have to make sure you are getting the right information. Don't, you know, and just like you would pick a therapist, you know, be smart about who you take perception from, or perspective, or who you take advice from, you know, because there's a lot of people in Al-Anon, just like in 12-step programs, who deal with some severe resentments, who just have anger in their heart and not empathy and not growth in mind, but rather go there just to bitch about an addict alcoholic.
Sure. So they're kind of feeding a little bit of a negative side rather than like the
Well, yeah,
side that they need to see.
it's kind of like people that... It's kind of like playing the victim. You're going there to get some validation that, you have been hurt.
Yeah.
We understand, but Al-Anon, just like the other 12-step program, it should be about healing those wounds and not focusing on those wounds. You know?
Yeah.
I think any support group that is progressive and healthy should focus on the solution and not the problems. I think we get so consumed over how much we need to tell people how hurt we are instead of telling people how much we need to heal and grow. Because there is instant gratification from telling somebody how hurt you are. There is long-term gratification from telling somebody how much help you need.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a difficult thing for, I think, a lot of people to wrap their head around.
Yeah.
Because the instant gratification is very validating. It is very, in the moment, successful. But it doesn't last. The instant gratification never amounts to long-term growth.
Sure.
You know, and long-term healing. You know, and just like, you know, there's other support groups, you know, your church, you know, finding a therapist that is, and listening to that therapist is very helpful for other people dealing with addict and alcoholics. There's also so many different routes that you can take, but Al-Anon's a great place to start.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
You know?
All right, so you are 4 months?
I'll be
5 months.
6 months next week.
5 months. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. 5 months.
Yeah,
So
you
6
good.
months next week. So how are you feeling today?
Me? I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good.
Feel good?
Yeah, things are good. I'm going down to Florida next week to go see my son.
How exciting.
Yeah, it'll
What
be
are you
nice
gonna do?
to see him. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there.
Cool.
Yeah. It's be nice to see him. He's having a tough... He just got recently diagnosed with diabetes, so it's been a big learning curve for him learning about his disease, learning how to maintain healthy diets and the insulin. And it's for a 12-year-old, it's such a culture and life shock.
Yeah.
But he's handling it really well. He's such a great kid.
That's
and
awesome.
his mother is doing a great job balancing work and him and maintaining, doctor's visits and so much stuff. And very proud of the both of them.
Yeah.
And so it'll be good
That's
to go see both of them and have some physical support while I'm down there.
For sure. Yeah, it sounds like, I'm sure he's going to love having you there for that support anyway. That's a really hard thing to go through as he's 12 years old, right? Yeah, to go through it as 12 years old.
Yeah.
Was he recently diagnosed?
Yeah, about six-ish months ago.
Yeah,
Maybe.
okay.
Yeah, it was November of 2024.
And then you'll go down there and you'll kind of like gather information and stuff, right? That way
Yeah.
you'll have an understanding of it as well.
Right.
Great.
And Mariah's oldest son also had diabetes, and so I know not a lot, but I observed. He lived with us for a while when we had our home, and so I know some stuff, but like not as much as I should.
Yeah.
I feel a little guilty because I should be doing a little more research on it. But this week before I go down, I'm trying to wrap my head around a lot more stuff before I go down there, so I don't look like an idiot.
You won't.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Well, I'm very happy that you're going down.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And happy 6 months to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just went through quite a bit of change in your life.
I did.
Big move to a new home.
I know. Yeah. It's a lot. I went through like a patch where I didn't want to go to meetings, where I didn't want to do anything just because I wanted to I was also working in Boston.
Yeah.
So I do certain side jobs that I go work in different, cities and stuff. And this one was about like a 8 to 10 day one.
Sure.
And I like those because they do stop, rather than when I was working on film, like they would go for a long period of time.
Right.
But so I picked these because I can handle it for my mental sanity.
Sure. Yeah.
And I have a great time, and I have a fantastic boss, which is great because I don't usually pick those.
Yeah.
And I, it's so funny. I kind of had like a thought this past week when I was in Boston of how well I have it with working with the person that I do.
Yeah.
Just the amount of like mental abuse I went through with, past employers or friends, that I thought were, it's just it's really like tough to like grasp that those were unhealthy versus this is a healthy one,
Sure.
But
you were also fucking drinking.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So like, not to cut you off or anything, but you're able to realize a lot, who your employers are.
Yeah.
And you realize you don't have to put up with a lot of shit also now too.
True. Yeah.
At least, I used to put up with a lot because I was always guilty that I was using.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'll put up with them treating me like an asshole because I'm fucking, as long as they don't find out I'm using, it's cool.
Yeah. True. Yeah. And I just, for some reason, I like thought about it and I was like, whoa, like it's kind of cool to have that, like that thought though, right? Of like, this is healthy. That was not. I can see clearly now, and I can choose to say yes and I can choose to say no.
Right.
And I wasn't able to say no before.
Sure.
And I would just say, I was like the yes man, and I
Yeah.
would pile everything on. And when I did, it would be too much, and it could hit me in 6 months. It could hit me in a year. It could hit me in 5 years. I don't know what it was, but like I would just keep going until I couldn't take anymore.
Sure.
And now I've noticed that I've started to say no to things, even though I don't want to. And I can't say, like, I'm happy to say it because I haven't gotten there yet to where I'm happy to say no yet. But I can say it, and that's a step.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I worked in Boston for a little while, and it was great. It was fantastic. Finished that show, moved.
Yeah.
And so I went through a little like dry spell where I didn't want to go to meetings. I didn't want to do anything like that. But I love it because at one point I had talked to you and you're like, yeah, no, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And you're like, change it, like figure it out, get to a meeting, do whatever, but like I don't like it. And
talking to you,
we were on the phone, and I was on my way back from Boston. You're like, okay, like figure your shit out because I don't like it. And I kind of like sat back and I checked myself.
Sure.
And I was like, oh no, he's right.
Right.
Like I need to start getting back around to people, like my network.
Yeah.
Which is our crew.
Yeah.
Get to the meetings. Keep doing the podcast. You know, it's like certain things that like I just had to like get back in line. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that I'm in the house, I am good. Like I feel good. I feel like at line, at a flat line, and like now I'm starting to just like summer. I realize I can't get everything done that I need to get done, and I'm just gonna like slow my roll, enjoy summer.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. How much frustration did you go through moving?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think one was just so I'm such a procrastinator.
Okay. Are you?
I am.
Yeah.
Like I am, really. And I tried not to be this time. So I knew I had the job in Boston.
Yeah.
Way before. So I planned.
Yeah. It's great.
To move out a month before.
Right.
And I moved everything out pretty much.
Yeah.
Except for little things, but I had to keep going back to the house and getting stuff for like the last 2 to 3 weeks, and it got annoying.
Yeah.
But then it started to be other stuff, like what furniture we're taking, what we're deciding on together, what we're not deciding on together, what we're missing that like he wants yes, I want no, or I want no and he wants, or I want yes and he wants no, whatever. But the point is, it was really hard for us to come up to with like a compromise of like what we're taking and what we're not.
Yeah. And
then I think there was just overall frustration of like, moving we moved out of a house that I lived in for 13 years.
Sure. And
that was like really difficult leaving those memories. And and it was for him as well, but I didn't really see like that side of it. And moving, I started to like really realize like I had a lot of great memories there, but I had a lot of bad memories too.
Sure. And
it was something like that I knew needed to happen in order for me to grow.
Yeah.
And that was something that I had to I think at first I had to convince my husband.
Yeah.
But then he started to understand it.
Sure.
But moving's tough.
Yeah.
Like it's hard and you go through things, but
absolutely,
we're slowly climbing out of it.
Cool.
Yeah. It's taking some time, but yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's big, the whole process of organizing and getting shit together and still maintaining your sobriety, still maintaining work, still maintaining being a mother, still maintaining being a wife. It's a lot of things that you're maintaining at the same time, and we're going to have those times where we, where life gets too much.
Yeah.
And we might forget about our recovery. And, that's why we have a network.
Yeah.
That's why we have certain people in our lives that tell us, you need to change out whatever the fuck you're doing. because I don't fucking like it. And I love that between me and you, we can take that. We might not feel good about it right at the beginning, hearing it, but we can listen to each other and know that they're only saying this, you're only telling me this because you want to see me do or be the best person I can be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that way I don't take this shit home to my family and while out on my husband or something. You know, I need to check myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what makes your community great. If you're allowing yourself to take certain suggestions or certain fucking hints that you're being an asshole or this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah.
You know?
No, and I completely agree with you because, like, right after you said that to me, and I think I got off the phone and I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, is he right? And then I'm like, no. And then I like really sat on it and I'm like, oh yeah. Like you start to feel these things.
Sure.
You know, and you're like,
I think it's very tough when you're in the middle of it to look from out here down on yourself and be like, and see the changes that are going on slowly that you don't even notice because you're just in like go mode. You're in life mode. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's why the outward help is imperative.
Yeah, totally. It holds you accountable.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we all need.
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Should we discuss? Let's discuss about our last month's episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had Maurice on first.
Yes.
What a great guy.
Awesome.
I saw last Monday.
Yeah.
I saw him running in
Oh my
Providence. And I was going to pull up next to him, but he was like booking it. And I was like,
I hope he sees
I was
this.
late for the meeting and fucking, I didn't. But yeah, I saw him running over near Adler's and stuff.
Oh my God, that's
store.
so funny.
Really, really humbling to listen to his honesty about his story. Somebody that's obviously very passionate about, one, his recovery, but two, to his life.
Yeah.
And also helping out the next person, showing people that recovery doesn't have to be miserable.
Yeah.
And people need to hear that. And yeah, he was a great person to have on and listen to and hear, and he could fucking talk, man.
Oh my God, I love it. I could listen to him like forever. He is, I'm really glad we got him on. He was someone that I think was really good for to hear.
Yeah.
You know, he had a lot of good stories. He also I loved his honesty.
Yeah.
And I also love how he did say, like, tried to track back and be like, I don't mean to tell my war stories, but like I do at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, because it's important.
Yeah, you know me. I want to hear that.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm like, he loves that shit. Keep going. Yeah, so he was awesome. I'm really glad we got him on. I'm glad that I was able to, you know, have a friend tell me about him.
For sure.
So
yeah, if anybody out there knows anybody that they think would be a great fit for the podcast, we would love to hear from them.
yes.
Please email chaosandrecovery@gmail.com.
You can also DM us on Instagram, which is Chaos and Recovery. But anybody that wants to come on and share their story, Steve and I have a schedule going with multiple people on there, so we will get you in. What we like to do is do a 5-minute video of a recording of yourself of telling us your story and what you have to share. And why you think that you would be great to come on the podcast. So we love to hear. Yeah,
you don't have to be an addict, alcoholic either. You know, we want to hear from, obviously, like our last week's guests. We want to hear from everybody. The other side, we want to hear people that just deal with depression, anxiety, or schizophrenia, or any certain disorder, or, you know, somebody that doesn't deal with anything and just wants to come on and talk about their lives, it's like, come on, bring it.
Yeah, tell us everything.
Yeah. And so like our second guest this month was one of my favorites so far. I can't believe we've already done 10 episodes.
It's wild.
Yeah, that's kind of surreal because it feels like just yesterday I had pitched the idea to Taylor, or I was talking about how I wanted to do this podcast. And
Do you remember where he's sitting?
No.
We were sitting, I'm so visual. We were sitting right at IOP in office/room 3. We weren't in room 3, but in the office on that couch.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I remember everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell it, sorry.
Okay. But yeah, it's surreal because, we come up with these ideas as humans, and it sounds so great, and it sounds like we would have a great time doing it. And very rarely do we put the action forward and move forward, because for us, this is a very vulnerable thing to get up here, record ourselves, and put it out to everybody in hopes that somebody's going to get something good out of it. And the response we've been getting throughout the whole time, but very much so recently, has been phenomenal. And it's everything that we got into this for, as far as this platform is a way to not only get information out to people, but for people to feel comfortable about moving forward with getting help. But also for the other side, like people that are dealing with addicts and alcohol, to see this side.
Well said.
And because just like we don't see what the families go through, the families don't get to see really what we go through. We both deal with pain in different forms, but they are both connected at the same. And so I think that what we're doing or trying to continue to do is very special in my heart, in both of our hearts.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's not.
To get up, not just like the courage to get up here and do this, but the setup, the stuff that goes on behind the scenes as far as getting people and scheduling them and dealing with people that back out last second, but also, the technical side of things, like making sure cameras are working, making sure the audio is great, making sure the volume's good, and then the editing process afterwards, and then the social media. It's like a fucking day job that we're doing on top of our regular lives.
But without, I want to point out that we do it because we want to, and we don't want anything from it. Right. Besides.
Oh, yeah. But this process takes up so much of our time, more than the hour that we sit here recording.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work that's put into making this happen. And I don't want to sound like, I need credit for what we're doing, because I think the response of people being moved about what we're talking about is enough credit to me and you.
Absolutely.
But I didn't know how much a podcast involved until we got into it.
Yeah, we had no idea.
We just thought the idea would be great. And I think it was Rafe, who our second guest was. Me and him were talking at a meeting, and he was like, it's so cool that you guys are actually moving forward and doing something like this, because a lot of people do have these ideas, and to take the action, you guys, you guys got to give yourself a lot of credit.
Oh,
and
I love that.
And he was one of my favorite guests coming on.
Me too.
One, musician, so I could resemble with him so much. Me being a musician too, but he's a person in long-term recovery. He's involved in the field, working at an outpatient program, and he's very involved in 12-step program work, but also he's out there performing on stage, on the stages where he used to be a mess, drunk as hell, making a fool out of himself, and now he's up there having just as much fun sober.
Love that.
And so that's fucking amazing to me.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I thought he was awesome. He was definitely super fun to talk to. I didn't know anything about him.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of people started talking about him, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And they're like, you don't know who he is? How do you not know who he is? How do you know who he is? And I'm like, I don't know, but I can't wait to fucking meet him.
Yeah.
And when he came on, he was just, like, the minute he walked in, he was just, I just instantly got that we're going to be, like, cool type people. And
he's such a humble soul.
his share last night.
Oh, yeah, fucking killer.
I was like, this guy needs to be on like the freaking podium.
Yeah, no doubt.
He is so good at what he does. I just think it shows as well. I think a lot of us not a lot, but I think some of us in the beginning stages of our recovery. I'm only saying this because I know that you and I have had these thoughts, and I'm sure some other people have. But when you go into early recovery and how difficult it is, you go through so many different changes in emotions and feelings and mindsets and ideas and whatever it is. But to want to get into the recovery field when you're newly sober, he has 5 years. However, we had that thought instantly. Yeah. Right? Like maybe once like month 2.5, 3 hit, and we were just like, you wanted to become a therapist. I wanted to become a case worker. And then we're like, let's start a recovery podcast. Yeah. And at first we were like, do we really want our shit out there? And then we were like, yeah. Yeah. Because 1, we would be helping people, and 2, we'd be helping ourselves. Yeah. And to get to be in that field and to like actually talk to somebody that's in long-term recovery and that's in the field as well. Like, I just think he had so much insight, and I think he was so good for the podcast. Oh yeah. And I can't wait to have him on again.
Yeah, and such a great response from our audience about his episode. Yeah. You know, and I mean, in the Providence music scene, he's a fucking legend, you know. Seriously. And to see somebody who goes from a person who took his music seriously but was getting nowhere, like he mentioned yesterday, to becoming sober and things just started clicking for him in the music scene again. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And sometimes it does just take being in recovery and progressing your life, and all of the other things just fall fucking into place. Yeah. As long as you're doing the work. And he's such a great example of that.
Such a great example. Yeah. Yeah, he was awesome to talk to.
Yeah.
And then last week, we had your lovely sister.
Yep.
Oh, what a great episode.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to start out by saying, at the end of that episode, you asked me if I wanted to say thank you to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, she doesn't deserve a thank you.
Oh my God.
I watched that, and you know,
I didn't even really hear that.
That's how me and my sister like joke around, you know, but yeah. I do want to tell her thank you, not only for being on the podcast, but because what she did on the podcast was
unbelievable.
So vulnerable, courageous, and so beautiful. But she is one of my superheroes in my life. And she will always be one of the most important people in my life. And she's my best friend. And words can't describe the admiration I have towards that human. And, you know, for her to come on and talk to us about a lot of the things that she went through my addiction, it was everything I needed to hear.
Yeah.
It was everything I think a lot of people needed to hear. I can't tell you how many messages I got about that episode from friends from long ago or friends now or people I don't even know talking about how much that episode helped them. I had a friend reach out just this morning. She lost her cousin, who was one of my good friends, maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 15 fucking years ago.
Wow.
He died from an overdose, and she said how everything Jess was saying, she wished she could have told him before he passed. So maybe he would have gotten a chance for recovery. And I think it's very tough for the other side to take a step back from anger and have the empathy that Jess had towards the pain while dealing with her own pain.
Yeah.
To tell that addict or alcoholic how they are feeling in a way that they are going to be receptive of that. I think she just did an amazing job coming on.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of great truths from all three of us in that episode, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that her honesty and vulnerability, in the way that she broke everything down, and I told you this on the phone the other day, that she has a great like mindset and understanding of what recovery is.
Sure.
One, because she's seen, I mean, your dad's been in recovery for a long time, but so have you. However, she has a really good understanding about it because I think it's because she's on her own journey as well. And being in the, the same but different journey, but same like mental journey, right? Sure. She has a good understanding of it, but she also just she just seems like she gets it. And I think it's really hard to with us alcoholics and addicts to talk to people like that, because you get vulnerable because you don't know how they're going to take it. And to sit down with her and have a conversation like that, and so open and honest and friendly and and stuff like that, like that was kind of just like a weight lifted off, and it felt so easy.
Yeah.
And that's just the type of person I think she is she is easy to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think she was so scared about coming on.
Yeah.
Which was, this is a scary process.
Sure.
It can be, because you are under a microscope.
Yeah. And
things that you say on here are going to be listened by a lot of other people. But also, like, they can... Like, I'm very self-conscious about some of the ways I look on here. If you're not, then there's probably something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And maybe not. But I can be very self-conscious about certain things. Like, I noticed when I'm listening to somebody, my mouth is open a lot. And only because I'm trying to listen. Only because I'm trying to listen and digest.
Yeah.
But when I look at myself on the video, I'm just like, why is your mouth open?
Oh my God.
But anyways, so for her to come on here with that fear and to see it quickly dissipate within seconds of her getting comfortable and... because once you're sitting down and in it, you don't even notice the lights. You don't notice the camera.
I know, it's so
the microphone is nothing.
Yeah,
it's like it's just what's going on.
Yeah.
And it was a special day for both of us, but she said at the beginning, what an opportunity to connect and discuss a lot of the stuff that happened
Yeah.
and the emotions tied to it and the emotions still tied to those experiences and those
Or not.
thoughts or not
Anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had way too much Red Bull.
Oh my God. Shouldn't have gotten you a giant
I had
can.
one. No, I had one before. Too.
Oh my God, my heart is hurting for you.
I know.
So Steve, let's talk to them, our lovely audience, about what we have planned for them next month.
Yeah, next month is a Friends Month.
Hey, Friend Summer.
You know, every person that we've had basically is very closely tied to us in one way or another. Next month is kind of our close-knit group. And it's going to be a special month because we spend a majority of our time when it's not with our family with these people.
Sure.
And we go to meetings with these people. We talk. Everybody talks to each other on the daily.
Every day, yeah.
Every day, all day.
All day.
And we're very supportive. Anybody needs anything, we're fucking there in a seconds.
Pretty sure we know everything about each other.
Right. And the fun thing about this group that's coming on is we've all known each other for less than 6 months.
Yeah.
And
we're like inseparable.
yeah. But to be honest, because of our connection, the five of us, if we didn't have this group of friends and how close we are, it would be a lot easier to think about being removed from this friend group.
I 100% agree with you.
Because if I start thinking that going to drink or drug is a good idea, I instantly think about, of course, my family and fucking that up and my kids and all that comes with that. But the next thought is like, what is my friend group going to do?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I need to be the rock for our friend group. And I think we all have that mentality.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, for me, I've been going to outpatients and making friend groups and rehabs for far too long. And I've never had a friend group where I can rely on or be accounted for the way I do now.
Yep.
And so having these people on is going to be a special month for us.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's going to be amazing. I think that it's going to be awesome too to actually sit down and kind of digest the last 6 months together,
Sure.
you know, and like kind of talk about how when we first went into IOP without really knowing each other, or scarcely like, you know, trying to figure each other out, or, you know, and then finally meeting and then finally hanging out for the first time and then finally like just doing everything together, you know, but not even that, but it's the emotional part that's connected.
Sure.
And I think that's what we all became friends and as close as we are for a reason, and it's because we all have something that is very similar.
Right.
And that is something that I think is going to be very special to break down to the world.
Yeah, I agree.
So I can't wait.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking forward to next month, and we will be posting stuff on social media. So please make sure that you go and follow us. All of our videos go out on Spotify and YouTube. We are going to change our drop days, our release dates. So all of our videos are going to be dropped every Wednesday now. So we will not be having the episode from this past week, but we will be starting this week every Wednesday, and we will continue for the following Wednesdays.
Yep.
Anything else, love?
No, I'm ready for bed.
All right. We will see you next time. Bye.
See ya.